Welcome to the TMZ podcast. Devin here with Branson.
Hey, good morning.
You say your last name's Quirk?
Quirk, yeah.
Like quirky?
It's spelt that way, yeah.
Okay.
I used to be called Quirky in high school
That's shocking.
and some other names.
That's actually shocking. You quirky?
No. Am I?
Yeah, a little bit.
You think I'm a little off?
No, definitely a little off.
Oh, wow.
There's definitely something a little off.
You know, they forced me to sit next to you on the show. It's got to be rough.
I think that they forced me to sit.
Sorry.
next
That's
to
what
you.
I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. I wasn't trying to put it that way.
No, it's been great.
You know.
It's been great. So let's get into Hayden Panettiere. It's the tough
Panettiere.
Panettiere. It's a tough last name to say. Hayden
I know, it really
Panettiere.
is. Yeah.
Obviously, super sad news that broke yesterday, and in the afternoon podcast, I'm sure you guys detailed a lot of the findings as far as it not being a criminal investigation. Appears no foul play. Obviously, this is going to be one of those situations where the toxicology will come back and we will know what really happened here. But until then, that's going to be some weeks out. So
8 to 10 weeks potentially.
Yeah, so it's going to be a little while before we know her cause of death. Obviously, the circumstances around who was at this Airbnb, who called 911, and who might know what was going on inside the Airbnb is still things that we are working on and should be on the website hopefully at some point today.
And we're working off dispatch audio, and sometimes dispatch audio is not the easiest thing to decipher because they'll say things like Narcan or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they found this. We got from sources that they found Narcan in the room, which is obviously a sign that, and obviously the dispatch audio said it was for a potential overdose, but these are all signs pointing to what could potentially be an overdose or what was being treated as one at least.
Yeah.
So anyways, we got, some stories today about Hayden's relationship with her on and off again boyfriend, Brian Hickerson. So we'll get into that at the top. Also, her ex-partner, who she shares a daughter with, Vladimir Klitschko, a very famous boxer. A lot of people were looking for him to say something, and overnight, early in the morning, he's over in Ukraine. He posted a very lengthy, heartfelt statement about it. So
yeah.
We'll get into that. And then, we have some other Hayden stuff that we'll get into at the end. Her co-star who worked with her had some, on her last project, had some stuff to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I worked on this story yesterday. So Hayden and Brian Hickerson. So what we know, they've been very on and off through the years, very tumultuous relationship. He's been arrested multiple times for domestic violence. Then they were spotted together earlier this year at LAX.
That
and
wasn't that long ago for domestic violence. That was
there was a very, and she openly spoke about this in her memoir in detail about the fights they would get in and the physical abuse. And
it was terrible. It was horrible.
It was a very tumultuous is the only real word to describe their relationship. So a lot of people were wondering, what the current status of these two was when she passed. Like I said, we got video of them at LAX, where at the time we were told this is just friends. This was in, I believe, early 2026. He was helping her. She was on crutches. Raised some red flags, though, due to their history. So what we found out is that, yes, they were on and off again, but they were mostly on.
Yeah.
And essentially, this entire time of this past year, they have been romantically linked.
During the promo of This Is Me, A Reckoning, her memoir.
Right. And so what we were told was that by sources close that would know, essentially, she talks about all this domestic violence and stuff in her book and did this whole press tour. And she was told it would be pretty, a quote we were told was it was bad for business for the book and kind of a bad look for her career to stick by a guy who, had committed all this domestic abuse and done these terrible things to her. And she was talking openly about it in her memoir and talking about it in interviews, and basically was told that she had to keep this you're not going to tell a 36-year-old woman who she can and can't date.
Yeah.
but was told that this could not be public. There were stories that they were broken up. That was just not true. And behind the scenes, they've for this past few, year at least, they've been very much together.
Well, think about it. If I'm reading headlines about a book where there's these horrible stories out, interesting stories about the past and everything, and then I find out that they're together, that makes me truly not want to buy the book. And that's why that is a good business decision. If you're going to date someone that you are trashing on a press tour, then yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah, it does. I think a lot of people around her, probably, I would imagine if you're a loved one of Hayden's, wouldn't want, they don't want him to be with, or her to be with this guy, clearly. But at the same time, she's a grown adult, makes her own decisions. Unfortunately, this is kind of, you see this all the time where there's, domestic abuse survivors, and they, stick by the person and stuff for whatever reason. So they were basically fully together. We know they flew out on Saturday to South Carolina. They were on the same flight. They were obviously in South Carolina because that's where Brian's family lives. He has family members who live in the area. We're still, we have reason to believe Brian was with her staying at that Airbnb. It's unclear if he was there at the time of her passing or if he was the one who called 911. But obviously there's no foul play here. So, he is not being investigated. Their cops are saying that, it's not a criminal investigation. So it doesn't look like, at least what they're saying now, that he has anything to do with what happened.
But nobody was transported to the hospital. Two stretchers are pulled up to the house, brought inside. No one comes out. Obviously, the coroner's office shows up, picks her up,
right?
But he never came out, at least that we know.
Yeah.
Of.
So it appears he was there, or possibly there. He was definitely in South Carolina with her because they took a flight there. Right. So we will see. But kind of interesting just that, they were still kind of fully together behind the scenes, and just publicly she was not able to say she was with him. They didn't do any public events together. But some people we've spoke to that are close to her said that the inner circle knew this whole time that she was still seeing him.
And they were laughing about it, apparently. They were laughing.
Well, not laughing about the situation, but they would see the headlines and be like, well, we know what this is.
Yeah, right. Like anybody would.
Yeah. That it's publicists or managers or whoever putting stuff out to make it seem like they're not together. But so anyways, on to Vladimir Klitschko. Very famous boxer. You're in the combat area.
Honestly,
Vladimir, or do you stick strictly to wrestling, not actually real combat?
Strictly. I don't touch any of that real crap.
Okay.
It's still real to me, damn it.
So yeah.
You heard that before?
So Vladimir Klitschko spoke out overnight. He is in Ukraine, living there. His brother, I believe, is in politics in Ukraine. And he shares a daughter, Kaya, 11 years old, who lives with Vladimir out in Ukraine. It's unclear really what the relationship Klitschko currently had with Hayden. I know towards the end it was pretty contentious when there was the child custody battle and whatnot. But if you would like to read some of what his Instagram post was.
So, he said, our family is going through a time of profound shock and grief. The announcement of Hayden's tragic death saddens me deeply. She left this world far too soon. Hayden was, although no longer my partner, an important part of my life and the mother of our daughter, Kaya. She built an incredible career through immense talent while also facing the darker sides of a very demanding industry. Nothing will erase the times we shared or the place she had in our lives. To our daughter, Kaya, I will always speak of her mother with respect and make sure she remembers the person she was. I extend my deepest condolences to Hayden's parents, her friends, and her fans who are also grieving today. Young and talented people like Hayden should not leave this world so soon. I ask everyone to please respect our family's feelings and privacy during this incredibly difficult time. For now, this is all I wish to say. Thank you to everyone who is supporting my family and expressing their sincere condolences.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, that's got to be a lot. And I can't imagine him having to explain to his daughter what happened, who's obviously 11 years, who's 11 years old. From what it seems, obviously she lived in Ukraine, but it seems like people have come forward. And I think Hayden's talked about it, that she obviously did have a relationship with her daughter. They FaceTimed all the time.
How old is her daughter?
11. So it was, it was. So, I mean, he dated her on and off, Klitschko did, for 9 years. So he knows her very well. You're tied to her forever with the daughter. Obviously, it was, they split in 2018, and that's when Hayden signed over full custody of her to Vladimir. But basically, Hayden was saying she made the decision so she could focus on her treatment. She was really struggling from postpartum depression, substance abuse issues, all that stuff. But the interesting point, so I know a lot of people were like, oh, I mean, you got to feel for Hayden, clearly was going through a lot, but she thought she was doing what's best for the child, being with the dad. But obviously, Ukraine is nowhere near the United States. So when you sign over custody, you're like, I don't know how much you're going to really get to see your daughter, which
is very
is
difficult.
I can't even imagine making that decision. But the podcast that went pretty viral after she passed away was she recently did Jay Shetty, who I wasn't super familiar with. I know he's a huge podcaster. But she kind of talked a little more in depth, which I thought was kind of interesting, about just that the fact that she thought the situation would be that after she got healthy. Do we have the clip?
This is of her explaining she has so much life to live. It's not that.
Oh, okay. The clip I found more interesting was just that she was under the understanding at the time that once she got better and was healthy enough, that she thought Kaya would then move back to the United States. So I don't know what the discrepancy was there, but it doesn't seem like that was the case, because at least from on the outside looking in, and I don't know what she was going through, she seemed to be doing a lot better in the past few years than she had previously.
Yeah, I mean, she looks really good in this podcast. You never assume that someone's going through that. But I mean, the mental turmoil of, like you just said, thinking that your daughter's going to come back after you get healthy, and they're still not coming back. That's got to be tough in your, those times alone and everything.
Right. And she talks a lot about this. I haven't read her book, but apparently she talked at length about, obviously meeting him, Vladimir, her daughter, kind of got into more detail on, when the custody thing went down. So, I mean, it's sad. There's been a lot going on, or she's had a lot happen in her life, and it's just like a truly tragic kind of Hollywood story.
Right. And we'll wrap up here, but there was a co-star that spoke out as well about working with Hayden on her final movie. His name was
Justin Chatwin.
Justin Chatwin said that she was struggling and really lonely while filming what became the final movie of her career. The movie was called Sleepwalker in 2025. And he said that Hayden was unusually open and authentic with him, saying, actors are trained to be on, and I really liked spending time with her because she took that off, and she was authentic with me about her life, and she opened up about her struggles with addiction, which is honestly very rare to speak with someone like a high-profile person like this, where they are open about their actual addiction struggles and things like that, especially on a movie set where they're kind of expected to be on their best behavior and everything. You don't want to air your dirty laundry on a movie set.
Right.
So, it's just really sad, because if she was that much talking about it on the movie set at work, you can imagine what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
all right, guys, we got to wrap. We will see you tomorrow and check in with the afternoon pod, because we hopefully will have some updates on what's going on.
See you guys.